And there we have it. But what? You're off to the side. Look at you. Oh, because I can do that. Maybe that fixes it. Well,
way to sabotage me.
It'll readjust again when we bring on our special guest. But we'll be
a special guest,
super special guest. It's he's special because he's near and dear to us. We've probably been to more than.
Good job turning off your notifications.
You know what? I turned them off on the phone. Okay, I didn't turn them off on the computer, and it was us telling us that we're going live. By the way, just so you know, so now we know we're live. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. I don't need this for today.
So see prior statement, and then look at smug face. And
what do you? I treat you so well. I'm getting you miniguns and all sorts of stuff, and you just want to be mean to me. I don't understand.
Is that the Rob Weiner, ubiquitous owner of New Breed Airsoft, the up-and-coming Airsoft Event Company?
No. Don't announce New Breed Airsoft. You're not allowed to announce New Breed Airsoft. He doesn't know how to announce that in Outfitters. We can't announce New Breed Airsoft. He's so happy about G&G becoming his newest sponsor, but his oldest sponsor, he wants nothing to do with us.
And to his defense, he did share somewhere that we are his sponsor the same day as the G&G sponsorship was posted.
You know
but what, I'll take you at face value. New Breed sucks, and I hate them. Clip that.
That's what I'm saying. Just so everybody's aware. I was going to say it. I don't want anybody to think I'm serious about it.
See, Weiner, through all that time, just sent, hey, I did put the ad out.
Yeah, you know what? Should I show the chat that I sent him from last night? It was like, hey, I just watched your entire solo stream that you did with Beowulf, and it wasn't until like the last 8 minutes that I said anything about DEO. And it all stemmed from a short joke, mind you. So that's okay. I understand.
It's okay, Greg. We'll be better. We'll be better and advertise like he should.
What's going on,
hold on.
Johnny? How are you, brother?
Don't make fun of one of my bosses. No, hold on. Weiner, stay away from Greg. There you go.
DEO is awesome. Sure, now we are. Oh, man, it has been Mr. King. Look at that. I hadn't seen you in a minute.
Hey, there's the man.
I understand he's been very busy with his restaurant, which is awesome. That's good news. This has been a fun-filled past 2 weeks. A lot of great, crazy, high energy, high anxiety things going on.
I'm exhausted, which means you must be doing horribly.
I'm doing. It's terrible. I need you. I was Mr. Cartwright back from Texas, back from the great state of Texas. Caber, how's it going? All right. There's gonna be some good stuff tonight. We got some people. You got 2 minutes. Are you ready to do your thing in order, in chronological order?
I haven't decided what I'm gonna mess up. It's been hard.
Yeah.
What?
I'm on the stream. That was my phone that time. Don't even try. It was Carrie calling. It's not fair. Come on. She's in New York. We're apart. It's amazing that I haven't like punched one of you yet. Okay, let's be fair. Let's be honest. Right? Come on.
Not nice. A drop of empathy found in this cup of sarcasm.
You used to love me. I don't know what happened. I don't know what you did.
The first thing that came in my head, I didn't say it, but I was going to say, simple. I got to know you. No,
no.
I didn't say it though.
Man, I give you everything. I give you stress. I give you hard times. You
give me the opportunity to buy things. You give me a lack of Saturdays.
Oh Lord! All right, it's 7:05. It's the Toucan show at this point. Now he's going to tell us all what we got coming up and what you hopefully don't want to miss. And
wow, I said, here we go. This week,
I got you. Go ahead.
We're professional setup, folks.
This
weekend we have a local game at the Den & Outfitters Battlegrounds at St. James City. Come check us out Saturday all day until weather permits and you all pass out. Moving right out of this month. That's really the only thing going on in July. August, you're never going to believe it. Who would have thunk it? August 23rd to the 25th, Operation Thunderdome 5, you're looking at the entirety of the USSR leadership. The CO, little man, XO, me, no pun intended.
RTO's in the other room, by the way.
Yes, in glorious. This is happening in North Carolina, in the Durham at the North Point Mall. A wonderful event created by our boy Kevin Christopher Walker of Operation Lion Claws. Tickets are still available, but are hyper limited. Check out every link you can get your goblin grubby little tomato cherry fingertips on. It's going to be a wonderful event. Bucket lists, AO. It's a mall. Fight through a food court. Shoot people through a Denny's. Can't beat that. I wish there was a Denny's in there. Chugging right hog into the month of September. We're looking at September 13th to the 15th is Operation Yellow Dog by Players Wanted Events in the wonderful Hudson County Sports Complex in Warwick, New York. A force on force with a zombie TFR. It's going to be a great time. Check it out. That is by Players Wanted Milsim or Players Wanted Events. Whoops, slip in Warwick, New York, at the decommissioned Orange County prison facility. So wonderful. Getting right into October, we're getting into
right there at the end of September, from September 20th to the 22nd, we will be in
22nd.
New Orleans. From September 20th to the 22nd, we'll be in New Orleans.
I swear to God, somebody's deleting stuff out of my calendar. Yes. Veterans for Airsoft. Battle for New Orleans. It is at the destroyed Six Flags in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's going to be a wonderful time. Veterans for Airsoft, our boy Freddie Lux. I wrote it in the last time. I don't know why it's not there. It's going to be awesome. Force on force at a theme park. What more could a gal want? It's going to be fantastic. Follow Veterans for Airsoft for more details. And slipping right into October. Two events, and then we're done. One is relative to our very special guest, and the other one is relative to the person we were crapping on. So, in the comments. So, October 18th to the 20th is Operation Crossbones by TCA. It is
absolutely. This is the one you want to get to, guys. Absolutely,
it's going to be good. And you know what? Our special guest will come on and really chat and talk in detail about this wonderful experience. I'm excited for it. This is happening in Milledgeville, Georgia. Date again is October 18th to the 20th. Follow Third Coast Airsoft, TCA Airsoft for more details on that. TCA Airsoft. It's like saying rip in pieces. What a fudge up. But the last and definitely not least, and hopefully most heard event we can go into is heard. October 25th to the 27th is New Breeds Operation Backyard. This is a barbecue themed event happening at the Outdoor Extreme Orlando Paintball and Airsoft Field in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a fantastic event. I'm going to be there. Papa's going to be there in his cute little apron and hibachi hat doing redneck hibachi. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Our very own Rob Weiner is the event producer for this. Very excited to see what his team has going on. Follow New Breed Airsoft on all socials for more details, updates, ticket sales. Bam! Let's punctuate it there. We are we are in the less than 10-minute mark. Hell yeah!
Well, we will be. This guy deserves all the time in the world that we can give him. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him on now.
Tried to blaze through it.
Sure, he's ready to do it. Let's see if I can do this even remotely close to right. Let's see. We pop him in, and let's do that. And
going on, gentlemen.
Special guest. There we go.
It's him.
How are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Good evening, all. I love the comments. Like I see some familiar names in there. One event in Texas that we are working on that may come up 4, 5, 6 October. Operation Starburst at Fort Cavazos at St. Elijah Mount Site. Once we go final, once the Marines go final with range operations, we will announce and formally announce on open ticket sales.
You heard it here first.
Yep, or second, or third, or fourth.
Stick around. It may turn into something like that, Jason.
No.
Whoa.
No. Sir, ignore Greg. Don't. No.
Definitely not.
Hey, just letting you guys know, yes, that is Toucan's master plan behind him on stealing money from 3 casinos at once at a boxing fight in Las Vegas.
If you could see the zoomed in of that, it would crack your brain. It really, it's painful. It's
you just got to rough your hair up and go aliens.
Honestly, if you saw what it said and I stood in front of it, that would make more sense.
There's tinfoil inside that hat he's wearing, by the way. Just so
very well then.
Yeah.
It doesn't convince people I'm doing well. But anyways.
So thank you very much. This is not your first time on, but thank you for coming on this time. This is a little bit different. This one's a little bit.
We've been chasing each other for a while.
This one, it was. Can you? Yes. Oh wait, I can't. Can you? Yes. Wait, I can't. We definitely went back and forth a couple of times, so I certainly appreciate it. Wiener here, I think he's talking to you. I mean, he might be talking to Toucan or me or whomever. He's old; he doesn't remember what he's talking about anymore.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, let's see. I went to what used to be Doomsday. I went to Overwatch, and I think that was the first time. I didn't actually physically meet you. I was aware, and that was my first introduction to Milsim, to anything like that. And then we went to, what was the first one? Serious Viking. Which one was that?
Which one was that? Was that the one at GTI, or was that the one in?
No, because I've only been to GTI once. I was definitely at
Guardian Center. Yeah.
And it would have been 4 years ago. Toucan.
Yeah, that might have been our first crack at Guardian.
And it was, that was something completely different. It was the first time we traveled for it. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what it has to be. And then we went down to Starburst after that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that's just been. We've been hooked ever since. The only reason I don't go to more right now is everything we've got going on, but we're trying to go to as many as can. And definitely want to talk about the new one, but we'll get there.
Yes,
because that's a big one. That is definitely a big one. I want to talk about that one. What we've been asking everybody, and I know a little just from talking with you, but so Third Coast Airsoft. You want to introduce yourself first? Let us know who you are, where you're from, do all of that, and then we'll move on to some of the real meat potatoes.
Okay. Hi everybody. I'm Sal Zuniga. I'm one of the founders of Third Coast Airsoft. Day job, a little bit background on me. I'm native Texan. Let's see, 26 and a half years in the military, still active duty. Army the whole time. Been a great ride. Hopefully they'll let me retire here, 2026. But been a great Airsoft has been a great medium for me and me and my friends. We started playing in 1999. Yeah, it's a while ago.
You still made of stone? What's?
BBs were still plastic back then. I think .12s were the big deal. When everybody was going to .20s. Back when the Earth was cooler and not so hot. So we were having a good time. I think we were playing Renegade Paintball up until that point. I know we played semi-pro paintball. We always laugh at that because there still is no such thing. One of our friends came down from the Coast Guard Academy on Christmas vacation in 1998 to 99, and he had these things called airsoft guns, and I was like, "What is that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's an airsoft gun." I was like, "What is that?" And of course, he pulls out this M9, and it's dark outside, and I'm like, "Damn, this thing." I look over at my friend Cortez. I'm like, "Hey, dude, tell me if this hurts." And he's like, "Jesus!" Shot him in the chest. And next thing you know, Godfather Gabe Leal's like standing next to me, going, what is that? And immediately went into further college debt, buying airsoft stuff and dumping all our paintball stuff. And so from 99 to we played Renegade Fields back then, because that's really what it was.
Right.
And we played out at a closed county park for a little bit. So flash forward to 2005. A friend of mine invited me to this big airsoft event that was happening at Fort Knox, and I was going to the captain's career course there. Papa was in child labor in Bangladesh. Jesus, that's a great comment. So back in 2005, a friend of mine said, "Hey, there's an airsoft game coming to Fort Knox. Let's go." And we were going to the captain's career course at the time, and we're like, "All right, what's the uniform? What do we got to do? What are we going to bring?" And he's like, "Oh, I've got an M4," and a friend of mine who was going overseas couldn't take his, so he gave me his MP5. So Steven had his M83 plastic fantastic gearbox that shot probably 200 FPS. And I had this MP5 from Korea that my battle buddy was like, "Here, you can have it." I don't think either one of them shot loud, harder than 200 FPS. And so we went to Lion Claws. We went to Irene in 2005. It was like one of the first ones. And we were wearing our DCUs, just came back from one deployment. We're like, "Yep, let's do it." And these guys were like, "Hey, you guys veterans?" Yes. Didn't realize what he was asking. He said, "Hey, you guys can run with us." And they go, "Those are the guns you're using?" We're like, yeah. You don't want to use those. Use these. And they gave us two classic Army. One was a classic Army, and it was a Tokyo Marui. And man, we get on the field and we're just like, "That's just great," So this is what a national level op, because we'd never been to anything like that before. And so 2006 comes and goes. Deployed for the surge in Iraq. Finally get back to Fort Bliss, Texas in 2008, and ran out with a guy named Joe Sharon, Pat McCone, and some of the guys from an airsoft club out there. And they were doing some mission sets that were just great. None of these weird, like, you got to escort the secret agent across the field. None of that shit. They were doing... I think Gold Rush was their first one, and they took 100 gold spray painted bricks, threw them across a field out in a wooded field out in El Paso, and each side had to go and collect as many bricks as they could and take them back to their vaults. And dude, that was awesome. Inventive, imaginative, and then, all right, hey, what do you do? And I saw some other guys there. I'm like, I'm a cook in the Army. I was like, let's just keep playing. Let's have a good time. And about halfway through one of the games, it was like, "Hey, man, yeah, right." I was like, "Okay." So you give us a scenario, and I'm like, "All right, we got to assault that building over there." We put a couple of guys out there, so we kind of started getting into the whole scenario design, and kind of really worked out the bugs in 2008 and 2009. And then when I got back to Texas, real Texas, not West Texas, because when you flush your toilet in East Texas, it comes out in El Paso. I got to go teach
Texas. I lived there for 6.5 years.
Yeah. So I get out to teach our OTC. I get out to my old alma mater to teach ROTC with, and my battle buddy Gabe. He's out of the Army at that point. And Gabe was like, "Hey, dude, what is that?" He starts seeing all these guns I'm offloading out of the cars. We're moving into the new house. And I'm like, "This is airsoft, brother. You're going to want to do this." He goes, "Wait a minute. That's what we used to do in 99 and 2000. I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And so he gets online. He's like, "I'm ordering a saw." I'm like, "Okay, sure."
Oh, my God.
And so my brother comes over, Coach, and he's back from his first or second. It was his second deployment. No, first deployment. No, second. And he comes over and he goes, "What is that?" And just as Gabe is like unboxing the saw, and he's like, "Oh my God." And Steven gets online and he's like, I'm getting a 416. So, and then Castle's like, I was at Academy, I bought an MP5, one of those Aftermath, green and black MP5. We're like, okay. So we're all like shooting each other in the damn training area that the ROTC uses. And then Gabe has a great idea. Godfather's like, hey, let's host our own event. Because there had been a local club in South Texas that was kicking dudes off their forums for using bad language, and you misspelled there. You can't play airsoft in our air. And my buddy Mike, who lived in Florida, his brothers were living in Laredo, and they got kicked off the website because they used an emoji. Oh my god, So one day we're like, you know what? We're going to start our own club. We had friends in Mississippi, Florida, and Texas, and Gabe came up with the idea. It was Godfather's idea to call it Third Coast.
Okay.
Being the Gulf Coast of the Gulf of Mexico. So if you knew what it was, you knew what the Third Coast was. Anyways, so we took a dive and we organized our first event at a closed county park because there was a club at the time in Texas. It was like, you can't host events unless it's our rule set. We're like, hey, dude, slow your roll. We're putting on an event.
Had a sense of superiority? Is that what you're
Yes.
No.
No. And we were like, hey, dude, calm down. It's not at a county park. It's at a closed county park. We have permission to be there. I'm a captain in the Army at the time. So I'm like, hey, dude, relax. We know what we're doing. Just either show up, don't show up. I don't care. And we had guys who $5 to get in, by the way. It was a $5 game.
Arm and a leg, Sal. My goodness, man.
I know, right? And so we had probably 90 players show up from Brownsville all the way. I mean, it was the biggest thing anybody had seen up to that point. They were like, this is great. And our play style was battlefield domination, where you had terrain objectives and you had to, flip the color cup, put it back on the stick.
What year was that?
2009, March of 2009. I should have sent Papa a picture.
Yeah, please send us pics. I'd love to. Wow,
something I'd love to put it up.
It's borderline historical at this point. We're going to put you in a museum.
And at the time, we also we started a news magazine, and it was once a quarter. So if you go to thirdcoastairsoft.com and go to blog, somewhere in there in the news TCA news tab, there are the back issues of the magazine.
Wow.
But probably you're looking at it right. You're looking for it, but it's one of the TCA news tabs in there has all of the back issues in the magazine. So there's some classic photos in there, man. And so people were like, dude, these scenarios are awesome. You guys are onto something. Nobody's doing this. They're still doing the whole get the fat man from one side of the field to the other, escort the suitcase. It was like, guys, we're basically playing online video games and bringing them battlefield domination to airsoft, and plus military guys. We were bringing in some tactical, situational tactical exercises, sticks lanes, and having a lot of fun with it. Flash forward a couple of months, we did our first trench knife. So we were having fun in 2009. We probably did like an event a month. Then Doc Govan, Mike Govan, came on board, and he was like, hey, I really want to do a zombie themed game. This is before zombies were even a thing, dude. This is like fall of 2009. And we did a Operation Scourge. And then there's a couple of YouTube videos out there. And what was cool about that one was it was $5 to get in, or it was $10, your choice. $10 to get in. If you brought cans of food for the local food bank, it was $5 to get in. So we were doing a twofer, right? We were collecting food for the South Texas Food Bank. And then a couple months later, we did Operation Polar Star or North Star. And I can't remember what we called it. It was either one of the two. And to get in there was you bring a toy for Toys for Tots. So we were having a blast. And 09 came and went. 2010 comes around. We're hosting more games. We're going out. We're a 5-state motorcycle gang. I mean, we had teams like playing from Texas all the way to Florida, and it was awesome. And guys were using the same rule set, bouncing ideas off each other. And of course, with guys PCSing and moving from like Fort Hood to Fort Johnson, Fort Polk, whatever they want to call it today, or being, guys going out to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Guys were moving around and taking the hobby with them. And so they were having a blast. So from 09, we were kicking ass, dude. And then I want to say I met a guy by the name of Sam Asadi in 2011. I was at Fort Benning going to a majors course, and we were like, hey, let's host a game to raise funds for the family readiness group. And we'll do it at Fort Benning, and they'll come out to the airsoft field. And the Fort Benning guys were like, yeah, man, you write the scenario, let's do it. Okay, cool. So we did a scenario, we did Operation Riptide. And freaking Reaper and Sam were like, this is the coolest shit we've ever done. I was like, huh, okay. If you'd lived in West, more West, you guys would have been having a lot more fun.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
The range on these early guns you were using, where you're like, if somebody hit 100 feet, you're like, I'm a sniper. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking FPS back in the day. It was like, oh, this thing is shooting like 500 with a 12.
Yeah.
And you're like,
look at my new
with
gun,
a 12
pop-up unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are making up words like, oh, I have the Kalila hop or the Dandy hop. Like, I remember that. Like, right when I started getting into like 2012, people were like, well, I made that. They named the part after themselves. And they're like, I get 2 extra feet. You're like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. But, guys would come along and go, hey, we were the first ones to chrono with 2 5s. And the local club was like, no, 2 0s. This was Texas Airsoft Association, TASO, whatever. And I was like, you guys use two O's, man. I mean, you got to get on this level, man. 2 5s is the future.
The future. 2 5s are the future.
Again, this was 2010.
Oh my God.
Okay, this was so 2010.
Funny.
That's amazing.
And then you had guys talking about like lipos are the devil. Oh, lipo batteries. They're what it. I remember Gabe had about 2 bourbons in him, and he was like, "It's voodoo technology. It's like transwarp drive. It's gonna fail." Of course, he was being totally facetious because he was just like, "Nah, dude. Trust me. This is the way to go." And so, the core staff, we're still all here. And so the core staff, I was like, guys, you guys got to get out and see the other producers. Get out there and play the game, man. Because we're players first. And so Coach and the crew went out to Black Sheep Milsim.
Wow, there's a name.
At the time they were doing their, I think for 2 years in a row, Steven took the boys to Black Sheep at Shelby. And because the best way was our staff would come back and go, this worked, this didn't. Mm-hmm. We liked this, didn't like this. Definitely don't do that. We were able to come back from certain events and go, hey, like the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not change the rules mid-game. Like, we're like, oh, write that one down. Yeah. Hey, no lighting. If it has to have a lit fuse, don't allow it on your field.
You mean no Easter egg firecrackers?
Yeah, no Easter egg firecrackers. No pipe bombs, for God's sake.
Nope, no pipe bombs. Yeah.
So we were learning through experience, and it was kind of like you were going to the Chinese buffet and going this, but not this, that, and not that. And when guys would have a crazy idea, you were just like, "Hey guys, we've tried that, or we've seen it. It's not a good idea." Or, "Hey man, whatever, do you." And then they come back, "I burned 25 acres of my field." Yeah, spud guns, probably not a good idea, guy. Using toilet paper as wadding so you can launch a corn cup of a cup of deer corn up in the air, probably not a good idea. Or the breech exploding and 3 guys go to the hospital. This was stuff that we saw at other people's fields. We're like, ooh, don't do that. And so we were hosting a lot. Starburst has always been our, we held Starburst for almost every year for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a love song to where we started, because our first event was Starburst.
First official, organized as.
Yeah, 2009, March of 2009.
Jeez.
That was the first event we ever held. And I tell people, hey, we're the second oldest event producer after Lion Claws. Some people have been around, but they've changed their name a couple of times. And I'm like, well, we've been TCA from March of 2009 all the way till now. The only other one that's still in business that's older than us is Lion Claws, which they are. John is the grandfather of Airsoft in North America. Regardless, I mean, people could say, guys, he brought the heat starting in 2003.
God, 2003.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So, in 2011 I met Sam in the crew, Junkies. Left Afghanistan, came back from Afghanistan, and re-met Sam because people were like, "Oh, you got to meet this guy." And I walk over and go, "Sam? Sam?"
Sam.
And he's like,
"You mean this guy I already know?"
Wait a minute, you know him? I'm like, "Oh yeah, And so, 13 and 14. Well, in 14, we had an opportunity to put a game on at GTI, and at that point, Third Coast had been a not-for-profit mutual benefit organization. We'd been a 501 not-for-profit mutual benefit organization. So we put games on, spend a $0 every time. Okay. And basically a motorcycle club. And through one of our guys, our accountant, having a life crisis, he said, "Hey, man, I can't keep the books anymore. It's going to expire." That's okay. I think we're going to go and turn this into a for-profit company. And we brought Sam on board, and we went serious and took the dive in 14 and 15 and said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it into a full-fledged company and put on events for profit. And dude, 15 was a great year. 16 was a great year. We were just, now the wives could all say, "Good, you're not running up your credit card anymore."
Actually turning back, getting back some of the money you put out.
Well, you can make one payment on it, and she'd forget about it until the next one. So, I mean, it was great for us to start, having fun with this thing.
So 2014 was the first for-profit. Is that what?
Yeah.
2014,
which was totally accidental. Which is totally accidental because a small event host got GTI, and he was like, "Well, what would you say for a $90 game at GTI one day?" And I was like, "You're going to need staff. You're going to need you're going to need staff, because if you're going to sell tickets for $90, you're going to sell a lot of tickets really quickly." Because AMS had just been there, Black Sheep had just been there, and their tickets at the time were about $140. Went to $150
for a single day,
for whatever they were doing.
Okay.
And I had gone to Faded Giant a couple of times at GTI, so I knew the AO. And I said, okay. And then of course Danny calls and goes, "Hey, I got the AO." One day, I'm like, "Okay, great. Do you know how to build a website?" "No." "Okay, hey man, I'll tell you what, we've been doing this since 2009. I can build the ticketing site. You need staff." "Well, I got my son." "That's not enough, dude. You need a staff." "Do you have a vendor?" Well, yes and no." "Okay, well, tell you what, let me talk to Sam. Maybe Sam will come out and set up and vend." "How about patches?" "Well, I know a guy." "Okay, great. Talk to the guy." "Okay. Have you thought about logistics?" We were kind of going through that whole S1, using the military staff system, S1, S2, S3, S4, kind of going through admin, intel, operations, logistics, and, I was like, all right, we're going to need staff. let me talk to the guys and start figuring this out. And man, successful event. And afterwards, we're like, let's reinvest the money and let's keep this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was.
I guess the crazy thing is you're saying 2014, which is, I think we started playing in 2012. I think it was 2012, 2013 is when Dom got me into it. And looking in hindsight, how many things basically exploded around that time. Like I think I said this, I think a couple of streams ago, when I went and I was hanging out with Sam and I was talking to him, I hadn't realized that Sam has only had junkies for about 12 years, which to some people sounds like a long time, but where he's at is not. That is not a long time to make it to where he's at in an industry that doesn't particularly make a lot of money. This is not a cash cow.
No, this is not a when people ask me, hey, I want to get into event producing, I'm like, you must be a glutton for punishment,
right? Yeah.
Sadomasochistic. Be masochistic. You like pain, don't you? And I say it jokingly, but then the reality is like, all right, man. Now we've had our laughs. Hey, man, 10% profit margin. It's real.
Yep.
When we start talking about Sal, I found an AO. Great. How much do they want? $100,000 for the weekend? Am I buying it? And so, because we're an organization that was founded by players,
mm-hmm.
and so we always kept that. Well, how much are they charging over there? $220. Ooh, let's try to keep it down to $140 if we can. We tried to, we always kept it in our mind to try to keep the ticket price as extremely affordable,
mm-hmm.
because as the sport grows and there's more, I'm not going to call them competition, but as there's more producers out there, people are going to want to go to more and more concerts, whatever you call them, events. Well, dude, if they're all $300, they're going to go to one.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to make it to them. You're splitting the community. I mean, that was I try to get everybody together, and people are like, don't split the community. Well, you don't ever have to split the community. You can, if it's done right, we can share the community.
Right. And I think I've told you, and I've even told Wiener this. We don't suffer from too many event producers. We suffer from too few players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you want to double book on each other?
That's for sure. And I don't know if you want to. I know with Freddie got with.
You're talking about the.
I know that you guys were getting ready to plan something, and you worked with him on that. I don't know if you. I don't know.
So we had announced it right before. We headed out to Stonebreaker. We're like, hey, Crossbones, this weekend, September, and Freddie comes up to me right there at GTI at Stonebreaker. He's like, hey, Sal, we got to talk, and I'm like, oh shit. He goes, yeah, dude, we have something in the wings that's really big, and I can only get it this weekend. And I went, okay, which weekend is it? He goes, it's the same weekend as Crossbones. I went, oh shit, man. Okay, let me talk to the board and let's figure out what we can do. And one, check with the AO, because hey, can we get do we get a different weekend? Yeah, I think we can do that for you. Okay. Hey everybody, staff, anybody requested time off from their day jobs yet? Okay, all right. So
I don't think he understands. And by the way, I didn't realize what I was standing in the room for. I'm standing off the corner because you and I had to talk. And I was just standing off like this. I'm waiting, and you and Freddie are talking. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it turns out that that's what you guys were talking about. But to really kind of show the grand design of all that is that you are certainly, Third Coast is definitely one of the largest event producers in the country, for sure. If you had to name, it's easy to name like MSW, AMS, Lion Claws, and you guys, right? There's 30 others, but it's easy to name you 4.
Right.
And Freddie, who is trying to do something, obviously for the whole community, but he's trying to do good things. He's got this one thing. You're like, you know what? Let me see if I can do that. That is not just gracious, obviously, but you're giving back to the community because this was something good for the community, not just for friends.
Yeah. One, it was one guy. I think one of our haters. Haters, take a number. Keep waiting. Things are gonna get great. One of our haters was like, "Well, they just made an economics decision because they know where everyone else is going to be." I'm like, "Where do you think my staff wants to be?" like the hell with it. I was like, "If you think it's an economics decision, I'm going to stop you right there. Anybody who's putting on events, okay, ain't doing this for the money. They're doing it because they enjoy what they're doing." Okay, this ain't the NFL. Okay, this ain't First
good
off,
economics would be leaving Airsoft and doing something that makes money. That would be good economics.
And I have plenty of friends that have done that. They've gotten out of Airsoft because there's no money in it. They're like, Sal, you guys must really love what you're doing because holy crap. Okay, fair. But the reality for us was, well, I know where my staff wants to be. They want to play Mount Everest. We looked at, let me back up. We looked at Six Flags, New Orleans, back, I want to say in 17, okay? And it had just gotten trashed by Hurricane Harvey. Retrashed, okay? Because it got trashed in 05.
Which is impressive.
Yes. And they never fixed it. So we went back, and, on my way up I was moving from Fort Sam Houston to Fort Benning. And on my way over there, I was like, well, let me go look at a couple of AOs. And went and looked at Six Flags New Orleans. And I went, ooh, no, not going to work. Then I drove up to Vicksburg, and I found the hospital in Vicksburg where we did the original Bone Crusher. So we passed on that AO in 17 just because it was bad. We also looked at another AO in New Orleans, and it was really bad. Like a dirty version of Miami Vice gone wrong. So when Freddie said, "Hey man, I got an AO," and I went, "Okay, which one did you get?" And he goes, "Thanks, Rob." He goes, "I got the Six Flags in New Orleans." I went, "It's doable? You've gone and looked?" "Oh yeah, we already did the recon." I was like, "Great. What weekend?" He goes, "The same weekend you're going to do Crossbones." I went, "Oh, dude, let's figure something out." In Milledgeville, they really love us, dude. The guys, the Bone Crusher AO, Crossbones AO, that city is a college town. There's not much of a draw there. And so they're excited when we come to town, Third Coast Airsoft players, because we're an economic booster shot to that city. We were an economic booster shot to Vicksburg until that neighbor didn't like loud noises. And that kind of ruined that hospital.
I'm big on segues, but I'm not going to use it this time. But just anybody who's wondering, you keep mentioning Crossbones. We're going to get to it. Is what makes that whole story even bigger is that Crossbones is a completely new format.
Yes.
Coast, which really, probably made actually, I don't think the decision was difficult for you at all. To be honest with you, knowing you, I think it was an easy call as long as you could move the things around, which obviously you did. But it being that whole new format, this new venture that you guys were doing, and again, we're going to get to it. But
we can segue into it because
before, so you employ quite a few people in Airsoft. I say that because it's a big deal to me. Toucan knows it for me for sure. Just the idea of being able to find people who want to work in Airsoft because they love the community, they love the sport, the hobby, whatever it is. And being able to do that is a big deal.
Yeah.
You have employed quite a few people in Airsoft over the years, including someone.
Well, he was an unpaid intern.
Intern, but
but no,
it was a privilege.
He came back with his tail between his legs, by the way.
I came back oh my god, I learned so much stuff. Yeah, that was wild. You have so many staff members. It's crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and that's okay. So that is key. That is crucial. You have to surround yourself with true believers. You have to. Any cult. Kidding, but
bad example.
Just like in the military, because you notice, 90% of the staff is military. Because we all have the common language, we have the common expectations. There's a brotherhood, fraternity there. where nothing else need be said. Hey guys, we got to leave at 7. We got to be there by 7, and everybody automatically starts doing the mental backwards planning. Snick, dude, bringing him on as operations chief. Dale being a log guy. I mean, these were. And what do you want me to do? Or they come up and go, hey man, we really need we need a logistics guy. Beans and bullets. I went, all right, Dale, what are you saying? I'll do it. Okay, got it. And so, or in the case of Lieutenant Colonel retired Mendoza, hey man, give me the advisor piece, and I will make sure that the talks are getting operational advising. And I'll have 2 senior military guys over there. I'm like, you got it, dude. And so it's awesome to have a staff that they're true believers. And man, we enjoy the weekend because we all speak the same language. We're all having the real fun's at the Airbnb where we're just cutting up and we're like, we know we got to get up early in the morning, guys. Can we all just shut up and go to bed? Hell no. So that's, and then if we go to events like Centurion, we go to Six Flags, we're going to be just having, or Thunderdome, we're having a blast. Just because, even if it's only a few of us, it's not all of us. But the whole staff got together. Oh man,
that'd be a terror for sure.
Yeah, we'd be wrecking shop.
It's a great feeling, though. I know I'm familiar with it when I get. We all get to get together.
Doomsday was where most of the staff got together. We went down to Overwatch. Yordi. So, getting back to the design piece.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
No idea what he's talking about.
Getting back to the design piece and having a staff that'll support it. That's the big piece that you have to have that. And I think that was the takeaway. Toucan, it's like, hey, you got to find a good staff. You got to find a good chief of staff. If you don't have that, then one man's not going to make this work. Like, I am not TCA. The staff is TCA. And that's a big piece. So getting into the scenario design, we try to bounce that by committee. We've got a design committee that looks at it, and we've been force on force for a good while because that's what players like to get in. Our version of force on force, where you have command and control, you've got combat enablers, you've got our mission command app. There's a Cerberus app that we've spent a ton of money developing. Folks are like, hey, can we license it? I'm like, no. It's ours. It's like asking, what's his name, from freaking Apple? Can we have a free clone of your hardware? No.
I remember at Milledgeville when I was your lovely slave, your coffee boy, your whipping boy, if you will. Had a great time.
The staff had more fun with that than I did.
Yeah, I laughed all the way till I went to bed and cried. No. I remember you were joking like, ha ha ha, our secrets, I'll kill you. I'm like, very funny. They're like, no, but seriously, I'm like, huh? And then I saw Cerberus. I'm like, I get it. This is like, I get it. Like, if you guys develop that all by yourselves, I would stand, 2 armed guards every night watching. That is awesome that you developed
if the first time Godfather brought it out, he had the original iPad like locked to his wrist.
Really?
Like, he showed up. Like, I was like, "Are you Jake Blues or what?" He's like unlocking it, taking it off. We're like, I thought you said this thing was web based. Yeah, but it's on this tablet.
That's awesome.
So I proudly wear my NTC shirt where it says Laser Tag Champion. But really, we took our experiences from the combat training centers. From NTC, the National Training Center, the Joint Readiness Training Center, the Joint Multinational Readiness Center Training Center. Anyway, 29 Palms. We took those experiences to help write the scenarios. And so we're always talking to the guys, how do we change our mix? Because you either evolve or you become boring in scenarios. Guys are like, oh, I know what to expect. I'm going to a Third Coast game. It's going to, I'm like, have you ever been to a Third Coast game? No. All right, well, you come out, all right, and find out. And then they come back and go, holy crap, if you don't plug into the leadership, you have no idea what's going on. Yeah, and it's not up to the leaders to chase your ass down. How about that? Go to a baseball, go play baseball and not talk to the damn pitcher. You'll have no idea what's going on. The quarterback just throws balls around at football games. Or go to a hockey game, whatever you want to call it.
It's so different.
So talking with the staff and going, how do we use this AO in a way that we don't burn it? Because we know we've all gone to AOs that it's the same field, and one of the things I think we do very well is designing the field, and player feedback is everything. The one thing I will not do ever again for GTI is I will never put the AAs, the alphas, by the parking lot, because that just made people be lazy.
Yes. If you can go back to your car at any given time, and it's not a big deal to do it. You could be late getting to the alpha. You can delay yourself.
Yeah. Or just walk up the hill, mag dump, and go back to the parking lot and say you played airsoft, and you're like, "No, man, that's not this." And so, talking to the guys about scenario design for Crossbones, we wanted to do something different. Dude, I just love that image too.
It's. I mean, it really is. It's a badass shot. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
It has a lot of presence. Yeah, it's very good.
So when we just started talking about how to use AO Crusher, because we still want to do Bone Crusher, right? In the spring, but we wanted to do something unique for the fall, and so I think Nigel, great pro. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Too many times, dude. I agree. They want it until they get it, and then they go, "I didn't want this." Well, dude, you bitched about it enough.
Yeah. Be a part of it.
So it's military simulation, mil sim. Come on, man. Anyways, enough said there. So for Crossbones, the buy-in's got to be there, and it is daunting. There are players that came over to Junkies and they're talking to Sam, going, "I don't know, man. I kind of like being able to just be casual and not plug in." It's kind of like Iron Dagger. It's like, I want this, but I don't want this. And I'm like, hey, look, man, you can be on the outside looking in, going, "Damn, I should have gone." Then you should have gone. Let's go, Yordi. And we took a hard look at AO Crusher and we went, all right, if this was an NTC rotation, what would this look like? Attack, defend, there would be battle, there would be set battle periods, battle phases, or set battles. Because Lord knows at Bone Crusher, we thought, man, there should be a real fight here in the valley. Instead, people are just walking across the valley. I'm like, both commanders, both years were like, I'm not fighting over the valley. I'm going to let them come in, and you're like, oh, that's a bold move, Sparky. And it worked. So this time around, having directed fights where, you're going to fight here, you're going to battle over here. You got to blow up a bridge over here. And none of this is going to be coming at you, fragos in game. No, your command knows this prior to the phase starting. And there's no artillery and there's no airstrikes. So it's a pure foot slogging infantry fight.
Yes.
Now, and just to kind of give the quick broad overview, this is your first non-Evo, I guess is probably the easiest way to say it. It's multi-day, but how many? It doesn't actually say. I
think there's like 6 phases, and
it runs non-stop though, right? Is that correct?
There'll be a battle, a break for reset, a battle, a break, reset, a battle, break, dinner, night battle, break, night battle, and then you break for evening. People were like, why don't you guys do nonstop ops? Dude, we do one. We do Iron Dagger. It's a ball smoker for the freaking staff, and it's a ball smoker for the players because we turn the game on at 11 o'clock, and we don't turn it off until 11:30 on Sunday. You guys, you want nonstop events. That's a nonstop battle. There are 7 objectives out there constantly changing hands, and some guys are like, dude, I can't keep this up. I'm like, well, I mean, this is war. This is literally like, this is what it looks like, guys. And so Iron Dagger, we're not doing one this year, just because we kind of wanted to try Crossbones, and then we got Serious Viking pushed to December, where the weather's beautiful. That the Guardian Center asked us to take that weekend. They were like, "Hey, do your event in December. It'll be better for you, better for us. Nobody will get punted. Nobody will get moved." And I went, "All right, cool." So,
Toucan, are we going to this?
To Viking or to Crossbones?
The Crossbones.
I mean, are you? Well, duh. I want to go. It's a Sal event. What do you think?
We got a lot going on. That's what. That's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. If you're like gun to my head, pick an event, pick a TCA event this year. We ain't making December. December's packed for us.
Well, yeah, no,
right?
I'm trying to figure out how Wiener thinks he's actually going to be able to make it and play, and he's got an event the next weekend.
Yeah.
Come on, we've done that. We've done that to ourselves a couple of times where it's like,
but see,
I'm sick of doing it. I'm sick of it.
You've been doing it for 14 years, 15 years, and you have a staff of 400. It's Wiener, Drew, and Toucan. That's pretty much it.
I'm recent.
Our staff. Okay, our staff fluctuates from 20 to 33. We do have a support staff, guys who come out and say, "Hey, I will support doing chrono." And they're guys that we've either asked to do it, or they're guys who are like, "Hey, I'll work for my ticket." And I'm like, "Okay, got it." But the full-time field staff is 26 folks for our big events.
And none of them are a joke. They're so, and you guys laughed at me when we had our post-game talk. I was like, you guys are cordial and on time. And all y'all went, us on time? And I'm like, am I crazy?
Oh, no. I mean, we've got our moments where we hiccup. But, I mean, our hiccups, we're harder on ourselves even when the customers don't see it. And that's a big piece. And sometimes we have to tell each other, hey, can we not be so critical? Where I think we're being overcritical of ourselves. But I've worked in small team dynamics in the military where, man, we would spend hours just tearing ourselves down, and the leader would be like, "Hey guys, you actually did very good," and and I'm like, "Oh shit!" So you kind of have to have that one sane voice in the room to go, "Hey guys, we did great. Let's get on the damn trucks and let's get the hell off the AO," And so, if
you could be more critical of yourself than your evaluators or your leadership, then you're on the right track too.
Especially when it's like, hey guys, the customers. By the way, the customer never knew that fucked up. Like I love tier ones because Steven is just super freaking like, it didn't go like the way I wanted it to, and it's afterwards going, hey man, it went awesome. What do you mean? I was like, dude, the customer thought that was the coolest breach ever.
I am the worst at asking for what I want when it comes to any of the events that I put on. He runs them for me, and I'm like, hey, I want this big beautiful thing. He's like, we have to do that in 4 minutes. I'm like, yeah, you can make it happen, right? And you'll never know that something was wrong behind the scenes. You'll never know anything. Yeah. Meanwhile, the only reason he ever cuts his hair is because he pulls patches out and he has to clean it up.
Yeah,
I'm the worst. I am absolutely the worst, and he's my savior.
So Snick is we've always got a couple of guys that overstress, and every one of us has an event where we're that guy. For me, the helicopter. Okay, when the helo's at the event, you couldn't push a diamond. You probably couldn't push a diamond out my ass. Okay. Because that is a huge military operation. That is a huge high risk operation, and I'm putting amateurs on the bird. And I tell people
amateurs.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm like, hey guys, I've done this plenty of times in the military, but I'll tell you, every time it's the first time. Because the moment you disrespect it, gravity's going to tell you you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I always do that safety brief every time. I'm like, how many times have you guys done this? And, Jax raises his hand, and I'm like, okay, hey guys, what do I tell you guys? Every time's the first time. That's right. This is the one time in your life where you're a virgin every time. And so that's for me. I'm like, all right. And once the bird sets down, we're done. But every one of our staff has had that one event where they are the source of stress. And I'm like, guys, relax. The customer never saw it. They're having a good time. Drive on. And I think that's our secret sauce, dude. When guys are like, "Hey, man, what makes y'all really good at doing this?" I'm like, "It's them. It's the staff. That you volunteers. You get what you pay for."
Nothing. A big nothing burger because you ain't paying for it.
But if you find some true believers who are like, "I want to put on the best game ever," and they don't care, hey, man, I'm not in it to make it real. I'm seeing smiles on people's faces. That's what I'm in it for. Okay, great. I'm not saying you have to have a paid staff. I'm saying you have to have guys who are true believers. Because that's how we start. That's how we are. We reimburse people for their travel is what we do. And the guys were like, man, I was like, you guys get paid for this? It was like that one meme, like,
Yeah.
Huh? I'm like, no. But in the end, I think it's the belief that we could put on a great event. And if you guys are smiling, then we've grown the hobby. And then when we go to events, the reason why Toucan, you were, and I share secrets with Rob, is we're players too. And so when we go to somebody else's event, we want them to put on a great event so we can enjoy ourselves. Helping CRISPR out with Thunderdome, and then it's like, hey, dude, you got it. He's like, you don't want to help? I'm like, no, man, you got it. The baby's running now. It's all you. Ask me if you've got any. Ask me if you have any concerns about your design, and I'll help you. And then successful event done. So, because when we show up, we want to play. We want to go and have a good time.
It's nice to have to be responsible for it sometimes, and just get out there and be the dumb player, and look around, and the piece kicks in every so often. We're like, well, I would have done that different.
So that's a big one for us. While we're at somebody else's event, we do not criticize openly. We keep it to ourselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we're just telling ourselves, going, I'm so glad I'm not putting this event on. It's like, is that a bad thing? I think somebody, why? You think you can do better? No, man. We're glad we're not putting on the event. We're here having a good time, And that's why when people are like, can I talk to you, CRISPR? And I'm like, hey, man, I try to leave you alone, dude. You're putting on the event. I thought you needed to talk to me. No, man, I just came to tell you what's the next hit time. Yeah. Love you.
What you're talking about is a high I chase. You go to an event. I just get to be here.
Yes.
I get to watch you struggle. Like, I just, slap my wrist, shoot it in my veins. I want this feeling. Please.
Yeah. And so, some of my guys were like, hey, they'll always go to a Centurion event because they have fun just getting lost in the character. And I like going to Thunderdome because it's a mall,
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. So, all right. So Crossbones, 4, 5, 6 October. At AO at the Rivers Prison Penitentiary and the surrounding terrain. I swear that AO is nothing but uphill. Because guys don't realize the staff walks that mother twice as much than the players do. Mm-hmm. Toucan, I don't know what your steps were that weekend, but I know mine were. I didn't walk as much as the other guys.
Pretty high, and then I ran across from the main courtyard to the valley, so I got it in. I got it in at that when what was it? The false real world was called. I went literally from the gate to valley. I was already tired then, and yikes, so that field will try you.
So the field staff walks on average 25 miles over the weekend.
Oh my god!
Average. That's why we all fight over the gators when we're at GTI. We're like, hey, it's my turn on the gator. You're like, yeah. So Crossbones, I think will be good for players. I said 4, 5, 6, 18, 19, 20 October. I'm sorry, misspoke.
I literally just looked at my calendar. Yeah, I looked at my calendar. I'm like, I fucked that up so bad.
Yeah,
no.
I hate when Wiener's right. I hate when Wiener's right. Don't ever let him be right again, please.
So 4, 5, 6 October is actually going to be Starburst once we get the confirmation. 18, 19, 20 is Crossbones October. And then our big one, Serious Viking, in December. What's around the corner? Well, in January, we're working on Dragon Fury. That's a new one. If it works out, it'll be in North Carolina. If it all lines up, that will be another directed operation mission set where, yes, you could go stay in a hotel, but we probably really want you to stay on the AO because there'll be stuff going on even when there's not kinetic ops. Bone Crusher in February, of course, return to Milledgeville, because guys do like their force on force in that complex terrain. And then March, Stonebreaker. But Stonebreaker, I think that next year, Stonebreaker, damn, we've been there. We've been to GTI 15 times.
Jeez.
That's crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah, when we were at Stonebreaker,
it's still big. It's still, I mean, there's so much there, though.
So when me and Snick were talking about how to do Crossbones, I was like, hey, dude, Crossbones is a directed mission set. And he's like, what do you think? And I said, what if we did directed mission set at Stonebreaker? Everybody will get to see the AO, more of the AO, in the course of that weekend, you will see angles of that AO that you won't get to see at a normal Stonebreaker. Plus, there's areas where we want to see battles at Stonebreaker that both sides are just so strategic in thinking, they don't fight there. You know, there's a great trench line that we fought over that trench line at Centurion in May. We really want to see a big battle, like 200 on 200, with that trench line being a part of that epic area.
Is that line that runs? Oh God!
It runs towards the rifle range. It kind of parallels the road going to the rifle range.
Yep.
We want to see a big battle, more or less where the jock building is, because when you have 8 objectives on the field, guys are like, "Wow, don't worry about the objective and the jock. Fuck that." Like, no, let's shove 400 people in the jock. Let's do it. Yeah, like, let's see what that looks like. So I think Stonebreaker is going to be a directed mission set, just because we can actually really have a battle where we want to see it.
I think heading in that direction, if I could, just seeing what I get to see from the outside, you know, I definitely don't get to go to as many as I'd like, but I know when I go, the guys that get embedded, the guys that get into character, the guys that really want to play to win, you know, I say it like that just because obviously we're there to have fun and do all that, but if you allow yourself to get immersed and you do play to win, you feel more a part of it. You enjoy it more. You get more of it. You don't worry so much about, I'm not walking through that, or I'm not going here. I'm not doing. No, do that piece, because you get worn out. You get more of that. You get ingrained in it, and you have a lot more fun. I think with the directed mission sets and things like that, you get more of the buy-in. Because guys are there on purpose now. They're doing it on purpose, not like, well, I guess if I get into a firefight. Well, no, it's not just about the firefight. It's about the whole thing.
There it is, right? Crossbones. One of the guys goes, well, I've gone to so-and-so's events. I've gone to another one over here that I don't want to be guarding an intersection for 4 hours. And I'm like, oh, brother, you're not doing that at Crossbones. Like, trust me, your objective, that there's only 3 objectives in that battle, and all 3 are going to get hit. Like, you're like, yeah. If you're guarding that poor bridge down to the Valley of Death that's already rigged for demo, you know they're coming for you. They're not going to just, well, we got this to go for. We'll just ignore that one. Right. No, you've got 3. They're going for 3. We're bringing back the recon phase that we had back in 16, where if you're in a specialty unit, you get on the field 15 minutes before everybody else does. You know, so we're bringing back some stuff that worked really well with the player base. So we're excited for Crossbones, because it's going to allow us to kind of touch the stone again and go, all right, let's go more milsim, but not enough to lose everybody.
Have you ever? I just throw this out there because Toucan and I have had a stream and talked about this before, and I think you and I actually we might have talked about it with you. Oh no, you I think you jumped onto the stream when we did it.
Laz?
Intentionally organizing units to have specified armament. Your squad units having primarily your riflemen, but also your LMG guys, you know, for support, and your Overwatch, forcing units to be built that way.
So I'm thinking about, let's see, when did you jump on? We had that system in place probably up until late 18. Where we limited the number of LMG tickets and SMG tickets. There was only so many per company. right? And that really allowed us to plan on, okay, this company's only going to have 12 light machine guns in Able Company, and this company's only going to have 12 snipers and 12 SMGs. The problem was the player feedback was, Sal, well, when my gun goes down, what do I do? I'm like, well, you go back to the base class, which is rifleman. So when they were checking in, they were like, well, I changed my ticket. I requested through the staff to change my ticket from an LMG to a submachine gun. So one, ticket transfers got to be messy. Two, players were like, I should be able to run whatever I want, just like the real deal. And I'm like, yeah, true. You know, one of the guys, I think Coach had come back from a real world deployment from Middle East, and Coach was like, hey, dude, I rolled out. I had every tool in the bag. And I'm like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
And then me doing a lot of the roster edits, when people were hitting me up going, hey, I want to change my sniper rifle broke. I need to switch to LMG. I'm like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. Tell you what, you guys can show up with whatever, as long as it meets the class criteria. Now, it's funny. Commandos all showing up rocking LMGs in one game. I think it was Airborne. Airborne shows up, and everybody in the K-Force Airborne is running a damn saw. And I'm like, did y'all mean to do that? No. I was like, you're an 18-man outfit with so much firepower of a machine gun company. Like, good God, your ammunition expenditure in real life would be high as hell. Ammunition and barrels, more barrels. Bring us more barrels, more bullets. So we tried that for years, and it got to be too much. Now, guys were like, well, the patrolling with the specialty class, what's the point of being in a specialty class now? Well, now you get to do the recon phase. You get to go, get deployed forward, or you get on the field 15 minutes prior to the main body. And that's a big deal, man. 15 minutes, if you're a rabbit.
Yep. Can make a difference. Can definitely make a difference. I asked that because I've had it happen where I've had guys in the squad where, hey, let me get what do you see over there? Can you do me a favor? Go do Overwatch over here. Call it down. Hey, we're getting ready to move. I need, we need the support gunner right here to cover our move. When you can organize your small squad like that, or even a larger squad like that, that immersion.
Yeah.
You start to feel something, especially dummy like me. I was a tanker, right? We didn't have that. Our Overwatch was another tank. It's like your wingman was your Overwatch. That's what you did. So being able to be on the ground and have that kind of that dispersion and all that is cool for me. And I really enjoyed it. And I know I get my guys, they really get into it to be able to bound and move and all that. It's really a lot of fun. But you can't ever demand it from anybody when you're on the field. Right.
But with this format now, I laughed hard at the last Boat Crusher when one unit was literally almost all submachine guns. Like that whole squad stepped on the field carrying a submachine gun, and they had to like, hey dude, you with the bolt gun, with the bolt action. Me? Yeah, come here. Can you shoot that guy for us? And I was like, you couldn't get them to stay together as a squad. But after that, they were like, dude, we're buying you dinner. Like they literally bought that guy dinner Saturday because they were like, hey man, if it wasn't for this one sniper, Sal, we would have been able to move. And I'm like, so why didn't one of you guys go back to your car and swap out to a DMR? And they're like, no, man, all we brought was submachine guns. That's never happened in real life. You just brought back a Cav memory for me when a heavy Cav troop was 9 tanks, 13 Brads, 2 mortar tracks. When your wingman was a Bradley and you were a tank, you were like, cover me, never mind. I'll cover myself. Bradley's like, what? I'm like, no, never mind. I'll cover myself.
You're all right.
It's all about the size of the gun. Yeah, whatever.
I like the heading and having the different types of games that you're way into. So you've got not necessarily casual, but you're going from kind of a middle ground to an advanced. If you don't like this, though, you don't have to come play this one. Come play this one, or if you, and you're
But
in to throw that around.
so we've had guys go to MSW, and then they went to Iron Dagger, and they're like, "Holy crap, this was a ball smoker." Yeah, I've been to Milsim West. I can tell you it's a ball smoker. I mean, yeah. And they're like, no, yours was just as much because you didn't tell us when to rest. You didn't tell us when to attack or defend. Like, we had to go into our talk, and the talk was like, "Hey, we just lost Lola. Somebody needs to go up there and defend it." For how long? For as long as you can until I can get another unit up there. Like, tell me how that's not real. Oh, by the way, call for artillery if you need it, man. I got a pre-planned target up here. And one of the guys is like, "Hey, man, this is definitely not like my home field type of airsoft. You guys are talking about integrating fires with ground troops." And I'm like, "I'm not doing it. That's your staff. That's your player command group that's doing it. It's more than just a dude pushing caps on a damn map. He's actually trying to maneuver forces." And so we want to keep that going and kind of reinforce it. So that's the reason why the directed mission set with Crossbones, I think, will push the MilSim feel more.
Yeah.
And then using the Cerberus app where you can still see, you're looking at the map going, "Oh my God, we just lost Irene." Yep. Yeah, that just happened. What are you going to do about it? But you're right. Not every game is going to be that way. Like
right.
a serious Viking needs to be force on force. It begs itself to be force on force. Starburst needs to be force on force. Bone Crusher, guys are like, "You should do all your events like Iron Dagger," and the whole staff's like, "Don't tell him that. We're all we're dead on our feet after Iron Dagger." Like the staff is like, "Dude, we're tired." I'm like, "I know, man. Like, we only do one of those a year." And this last one broke us off so hard we didn't do an Iron Dagger for 24. No, I'm kidding. It just didn't line up with it. It didn't line. There's no way you could do an event at GTI in November, followed by an event at Guardian Center in December. There's just no way. Like,
that's wild.
Financially speaking, the staff can't afford it, and the player base definitely can't afford it.
Sure.
So that was just an easy decision for us.
So closing question really is: so we know where you came from. And that was a great story. I mean, I've used you as an example previous when I broke this whole series up and I got to meet with Jonathan Higgs and Nigel Giles. We were talking about people being able to make the time if you want to start your business and do things like that. You mean the guy who is active duty lieutenant colonel in the Army?
Yes,
takes time to run one of the top. So tell me where your time is taken up. So you're able to do all of that now, and you've shared with us what your personal future is. You're on your way to retirement.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Third Coast? What is the direction where you're hoping to get to? If there's anywhere you're hoping to get to.
Yeah. So great question. I guess I got to grow up. No.
Trust me, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
If you have to grow up, we're all in trouble. If you're the one that has
trouble. So some of us from Third Coast Airsoft, some of the staff got together and we started Third Coast Tactical, which what we did with TCT, Third Coast Tactical, was get into real steel and do the two gun.
That's right.
Yeah, to do the 2-gun competitions, and basically it's a gun club with a hiking problem, where you hike and you move from one shooting stage to another. So I got it. Pope, God rest his soul, and a couple of the other guys got me hooked on that. Thomas, I blame Kukui for getting me hooked onto the run and gun thing. Sounds like Mako. Oh, that's funny. Tales of high adventure. So yeah, we started TCT back in 22, and so that's another project we got going. Some of us from the TCA staff. TCA, our goal is I think our busiest year was 17 and 18, where we did almost 8 events a year.
That's wild.
And I was developing. I was a planner, at the time I was an Army planner. It just lined up that way where I had a lot of time. My schedule was very predictable. I was working at U.S. Army South, and then I went to go develop SFABs. So my day job was not unpredictable. And when I went into battalion command, dude, I didn't even have time to pee. It just. And then COVID hit. So COVID hit at the perfect time where my life wasn't my own. I couldn't travel anywhere. We couldn't do events anyway. So we lucked out. Now I don't get to go to every event. There's been events where I was at NTC maneuvering the battalion. So they did Starburst that year without me. They did a Stonebreaker. We were still on the travel ban for COVID, and we still did Stonebreaker that year. Castle did a great job with a lot of help with the staff putting that one on. Pretty proud of him because that was the year he got nominated as one of the best events in North America. I was like, dude, I told Castle, hey, man, that was you and the boys. Good job. He was like, I was so stressed. I ate a whole bag of gummies afterwards. So, yeah, I know. But well deserved, man. And so I can't make it to every event, and it breaks my heart because I know the guys are having a blast and working hard. But yeah, dude, with the day job getting put on the shelf, I'm going to put more time and effort into making, 6 events a year. I think is the right mix because we have this thing called summer and it sucks. And
it ain't getting cooler anytime soon. Gabe's godfather is having me look in the Midwest, looking more towards Michigan, Indiana. Friends of mine, Task Force 48, had me looking out at Colorado and out that way. And then some good friends of mine, unfortunately, they're in the hot spot. They're down in the Mojave Desert area, looking at an AO there. And I'm like, yeah, we could expand. I just need more time, and the day job is the day job, and that's the important job. So, until it's not anymore. I'm the last one, by the way. Everyone else is retired from the military. I'm the only one on staff left. Let me hold on. Can I say? Wait. Well, he's National Guard. That doesn't count.
No, it does. It very much does. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. My brother deployed a shit ton, and he was a National Guardsman for 20 years. Coach, I was looking at Coach going, you just should have gone active duty, bro. And he's like, yeah, I don't like the day-to-day crap. I'm like, yeah, okay. Call me out for the big ones. That's all that matters.
I just realized I talked shit about Coach.
That's what it is.
And then Josh Corday, he's a law enforcement guy now, but he served in the National Guard SFAP, so he was always out the door. But yeah, I'm the last one on active duty, and it's time. Of course, my wife's like, "You've said this before." I'm like, "No, this time I mean it." You hear that? I made it. Okay, so plus, having the free time to go to SHOT Show this year, I got to meet guys like John from Airsoftology, and having a good conversation with them. Re-meeting other people that I've met before that they were like, oh shit, Third Coast is here. You guys are a real company. That was literally like the first year the guys, I couldn't go that year, but they like Godfather and a couple of the other guys went to SHOT Show, and the response was, oh God, you guys are real. Like, yeah. What, you thought we were content creators? Is that how you thought we got these fucking passes? Come on, guys. No. And so I think that's the one thing that cracks me up every time Sam calls me and goes, yeah, we got some new guys in the shop here at Junkies that have never heard of Third Coast. I'm like, we've been hearing that for 15 years, man. There's nothing new. That means there's new blood in the hobby.
Yeah, and
ask them if they've heard about the D-hop. But they haven't heard about Third Coast, but they've heard about the D-hop.
The D-hop is a cult, and it never ends. We wish people would talk about it. We wish less people heard about it, to be so honest with you.
So, I laugh because we got to up our media game. Well, part of that was, do we suffer putting on the event, or so we can have media, or do we focus on the event and not have any media? Well, the answer is obvious. focus on event production, and the media will come. You know, and I think that's where our focus is, and I think that's where I'm going to put more of my time. I'm going to be laid up for a month after knee surgery here next week, so I'll be
when
working.
the nanites take over, it'll be so much easier.
Yeah. They shoot that right in the knee, be good. The mileage definitely went somewhere.
I gotta say, so you know, and you know this, but I gotta say, so Dom came back. My son Dom came back from Poland. He got home on a Thursday morning, and that following Friday, 24 hours later, we met up at Stonebreaker.
Yeah.
And anybody who actually got to witness, by the way, the meetup, because I hadn't seen him in 7.5 months, and actually longer than that, but he'd been gone for 7.5. That's my boy. I across the parking lot like a fool. I bolted and snatched him up. That's just what you do. But we did that because that's what airsoft means to us.
Yes.
When he was the whole time he was in the Army, you know, he's back now, and he's actually, I told you, he re-enlisted in reserves. He's been at my shop for the past week working. He's learning how to work. He's going to become my product manager. He's working at the shop.
Child labor, yes.
Free labor because he's an intern right now.
Just don't let him cream your coffee, okay?
But oh gosh.
Oh my God.
So, but that's to me that's what I try to impose, and that actually is what us playing at Third Coast Events has done for us. I have grown so much being at Third Coast Events. You know, I haven't been to AMS yet, and I want to give AMS a try. I've been to several Lion Claws, both Irene and Thunderdome and Mayhem Mill. The Third Coast Events have a backstory for me. There's meat to it, and it matters a lot. And having all that was, you know, for me, that was amazing. And I attribute that to you, to Third Coast, and I appreciate that. And I always try to make sure I share stuff like that because it's a big deal to me. And I hope people keep getting a chance to have those experiences for themselves.
So I think that's another one. What's next for me? You've lived the military life. You know that you can't take a weekend off without asking permission from somebody. You can't. Lord knows you can't travel more than 250 miles from your duty station without asking for permission. And like I said, I'm the last one on active duty, so everyone's like, "Hey, Sal, let's go to." Oh, wait, you got to go ask Uncle Sam. You know, so in terms of getting back out there and playing, that's my goal. You know, get the knee fixed, and then retire, and then get out there and go. Yeah, I am going to see you guys at that event. Yeah, I am going down to Florida. Yep, I am going to this one. That's awesome. That's going to be the plan, and because that's how you grow the hobby. Yeah, you know. So that will be the thanks, Rob. Wiener. So supplemental retire. There's always OF.
There it is. One nice comment later, boom! You're wrong.
Can't ever. No.
Photos of my feet have gained me nothing on OnlyFans. No. It's a deflation of the value of the feet. Anyways, so, but yeah, that's really the plan, man. To retire and spend more time. I got a 7-year-old. This is going to be the kid that wants to be in the military from the get-go, because he doesn't remember all the stuff that Dad had to do. My oldest will be graduating from advanced camp here at Fort Knox this weekend. Me and Lucy, we're flying out there to see him. He just came out of the field. They did a 12-mile road march last night. So, you know, we're excited to see him. Dude, this was the kid that we were like, you're going to do what? You know, and he'll be a senior at A&M, so we're really excited to. That's
fantastic.
When he gets commissioned, God willing, next May, there are going to be so many staff. It'd be like, are we putting on an event here or what? Because there's going to be so many staff at his graduation and commissioning.
Yeah. That's it's what I mean. Again, adding that whole that community, that family bond, that community bond. There again, that's another part of it. It's not something.
I told him he's going to go into college debt because that's a lot of silver dollars for a lot of salutes. Because with the exception of me, Dale, and was it Captain Green and Mendoza, the rest of them are enlisted, so that's going to be expensive. So lucky they don't blood pit anymore.
That's how I got my 5. I think there's still scars somewhere around here on the collarbone.
Right there.
Hey guys, I'm a civilian. Hello, viewers. I understand that you don't understand either. Everybody else. No.
Back in the day, that's where they would punch them in.
Yeah, they would put the damage on the back. You put the rank in, and you let it sit without the damage on it, so it's just pins. And other NCOs would. Yeah. And you didn't care though. That's the other thing. It didn't matter.
No, you were proud. You were proud of it.
You stood up taller every time you got hit. Well, I didn't.
Until you got that one. She got that one NCO that was just built like Brutus. It was like, this is gonna hurt. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that's what's next, man. To put more time into going out there and playing. That's
awesome. Good.
So, yeah.
I missed my chance to come to the Centurion game with you to go and play with you. I got to make another one. Busy as I am, I'm still trying to get out there. Like you said, that's how you continue to grow it. Also, be part of the community, not just outside of the community. And that's definitely it. You getting back out there that's where you started. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for having me on.
No, thank you very much. We finally made it.
Yeah, finally.
I wasn't in Chicago. I wasn't in Seattle. I was actually here.
Any final thoughts, words, anything like that?
Cabra, these kids don't know jack about FBCB2. Yeah, Cerberus. Anyways, but anyways, I don't want to go down the FBCB2 road. Hey, next thing is, we're looking forward to seeing all the players at our season opener on the East Coast at Crossbones. Once we know more about Starburst, we'll lock it in and get tickets open. It will be Elijah Mount site for those that know Elijah Mount site there in Fort Hood or Fort Cavazos. Fort Hood. I'm just going to call it Hood harder. And then Crossbones is going pretty quick. We're about half, I want to say 3/4 sold out. So get in on Crossbones, especially if you don't know, like this is I love hearing this is my first CCA game. Great. Did you read the rules? Did you read the op order? Awesome. And no, Sal doesn't really hate pandas, even though I've got a panda head on my wall. So it's a college joke that we love. Anyways, all right, love you guys, and
stay tuned, guys. Thank you all very much for joining. Toucan, you got anything you want to share out before we say goodbye?
From Sal's story about people getting banned off of forums for using emojis and using their own vocabulary, I'm so glad that gatekeeping has persisted throughout the hobby for its entire history. There we go. That's all I got.
And everybody else, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for hanging in there. I know we went a little long, and that's perfectly fine. And 2 more weeks. We'll see you all again. Thanks again. Keep playing.